What is going on, cryptocurrency investors? My name is Landon. Welcome to Crypto Review Central. I provide daily cryptocurrency videos covering a wide range of topics from market analysis, price speculation, and trending topics. You can find it all right here at Crypto Review Central. Recently covering the stellar pump as well as all this information about Coinbase, adding new assets as well as this new e-gift option that allows you to spend your cryptocurrency with select retailers. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. Notably, the SEC has denied the Winklevoss's BAT exchange application for a Bitcoin ETF. Really, the Reddit sentiment is stop the FUD. The Winklevoss's ETF was an appeal from a 2-year-old application with a 1-year-old denial. This has zero impact on the August 16th Van Eyck Solid X CBOE ETF. Saying it doesn't have an impact on the second ETF is just stupid. As much as I would love an ETF, this is a signal from the SEC that they aren't going to allow Bitcoin in at this point in time. If you read the statements about why, they obviously still will affect the Van Eyck and Solid X proposals. The SEC has little to gain by allowing what is still a very risky asset to trade as an ETF to average Joe investors. They just don't want the risk. Even the GLD ETF was heavily fought over, and that is an ETF on a commodity thousands of years old. New chairman will be coming, which could possibly sway the vote. But at this point in time, I don't believe it will happen, maybe in a few years. This tweet also has a good analysis. The Winklevoss's ETF was an appeal from a 2-year-old application with a 1-year-old denial. The initial denial was because of a lack of regulation and security. The addition in the appeal was that Bitcoin is hard to manipulate for a variety of reasons, which I agree. Solid X CBOE ETF is not related to Winklevoss, and this ETF has the best chance of approval. They attack the manipulation and security question by adding onto the Winklevoss's answer of it's hard because it's global and 24/7. The CBOE argument was that they will be purchasing over the counter from predominantly regulated institutions that do AML and KYC. OTC is more sophisticated and harder to manipulate. Great point. The pricing mechanism they will use for Bitcoin will be from those OTC regulated entities. This pricing mechanism will be publicly available. Again, another great point. The ETF will be subject to the same CBOE surveillance rules and as derivative products and commodity trusts. The CBOE Van Eyck ETF will also have insurance to protect against security issues. Another huge development. Seems like one after the other for the positive of this next ETF, because a lot of speculation and a lot of FUD spun out of this was that Bitcoin's going to be depressed. People aren't going to do very well. The price of Bitcoin is going to suffer. It did temporarily, but has since been pushed up above 8,100. So really, the markets merely blinked at this idea. There was and still exists so much FUD about this Winklevoss ETF denial, saying that it will cause a return to a downward channel. That's just simply not the case, and I really don't think that's going to happen. Back to this epic tweet, which gives a very good synopsis, so I'm going to go through it all. The Van Eyck ETF is also designed for sophisticated institutional investors with a high minimum. The Winklevoss's minimum was like 0.1 of a Bitcoin, so it really appealed to the average Joe investor, of which ignorance is rampant. So it makes a lot of sense why they would deny it, citing security and instability issues, because the average Joe is not prepared, nor has the experience, nor can be expected to have the experience to understand the volatility in these markets. Institutional investors, on the other hand, have a bit of an edge in this space because they transact in traditional markets frequently. It will be incredibly difficult and costly to manipulate the Van Eyck ETF, whereas the Winklevoss ETF, with such a low minimum, to buy it you need 25 Bitcoin. The Winklevoss was 0.1. It's for hedge funds, private wealth managers, family offices, and HNW. In conclusion, the Van Eyck CBOE Bitcoin ETF directly addresses the reasons why the Winklevoss ETF was denied. They make both compelling arguments and designs in the ETF to mitigate the risk in the Winklevoss ETF. The Van Eyck ETF still has a high chance of approval. This does not mean the CBOE Bitcoin ETF is going to get approved. I like its chances, but it's still a battle. However, their argument is 1,000 times better than the Winklevoss argument on the reason why the Winklevoss ETF was denied. It's as simple as that. For those that don't know, Van Eyck, or Eck, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, is a pretty big ETF shop. Not top tier, but a very respectable ETF shop. In addition, their best product is related to gold. A Bitcoin ETF is right in their wheelhouse. It's a totally different situation than the Winklevoss's. The Winklevoss crew had the worst ETF while Van Eyck had the best. There was 0% chance Winklevoss would get approved with a far superior Van Eyck ETF on deck. He posted this a couple weeks back. The buzz is positive in asset management. Combine that with the report from Zero Hedge saying that the SEC is on board. That tells me both sides are very optimistic that this will happen this year. The most important part of this entire thread is the Winklevoss denial does not hurt the Van Eyck ETF. It's a total 100% non-event. It had zero chance for approval, and it doesn't impact the better ETFs that are currently in application. In his opinion, Bitcoin is a clear buy right here. I know that was a little dense. Also, the Commissioner Hester Pierce has respectfully dissented from the Commission's order for disapproving a proposed rule change. It was brought to the cryptocurrency community's attention that Hester Pierce is going to cement her place in Bitcoin's history. Also, there are 2 new commissioners that are coming into office for 2019, so it can only be assumed that this overall sentiment is going to continue to evolve and that cryptocurrencies eventually will have a Bitcoin ETF. Whether it happens this year or not is really the million-dollar question right now. Bitcoin should hold on above 8,100, as most of the news that it was all FUD and the markets should not be impacted by this Winklevoss ETF application denial, because many speculated that it was going to be denied prior to the news being released that it was. It might have a negative impact on the next ETF, but that seems to not be the case. However, no one does know the future, and all we can do is continue to monitor these markets. We are just under $300 billion and hanging on seemingly by a thread right now. So stay tuned and keep it locked right here at Crypto Review Central, and smash that like button if you did find this video informative. I will continue to update you on the evolving changes regarding any news from the SEC and or any influx of capital into this market, because it's going to be an exciting close to this year. Thank you once again for watching Crypto Review Central. My name is Landon, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.